All right, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you, November 6th, 2020. Rebecca Johns coming to you from Flint, Michigan. I am a proud mommy to two boys, 13 and 9. Noah and Aiden are my world. I homeschool, but I'm also a certified holistic health practitioner, an ordained Christian minister, and a purpose coach, working nationally and internationally to impact and make a difference the communities that I love. I've been a proud Purium brand partner since 2014. And I personally have come out of a devastating health crisis. And I'm sure many of you will relate. But to 430 pounds, diabetes, IBS, arthritis, bursitis, skin disorders, anxiety, and depression. And with the blessing of Purium, organic, non-GMO superfoods, and a healthy lifestyle, I'm happy to report that I have healthy glucose levels, a healthy gut, healthy skin, and a body that is functioning, knowing how to perform. And ultimately, that's what this conversation today is about. Each and every Friday, the Million Mom Movement, we are a council gathered here today. So if you are on the council, please write the word council in chat so our people know who you are. And you can also friend us on Facebook or Instagram, social media. Okay. But know that we're a council of moms. We're a council of people who have had crises, had to fight for our right to get out of crises, and now stand for your right and the community and the world's right to be well. I love how our chairperson, Stephanie Dawn, speaks it. She says the sovereignty of health and wealth. Health and wealth sovereignty. It is your birthright to be healthy and wealthy and wise. And we, the Million Mom Movement, come together every Friday to bring you information, education, and usually special guests with epic information for you to take into your life for free. We want to give into this community, and that is a function of our pledge. Now, our promise in the Million Mom Movement began to say we want 1,000 moms in 100 cities helping 10, but it's really become movement of many because we are moms, we are dads, we are caregivers, we are educators, we are influencers. We're simply people who care enough to stand up and say, you know what, enough. We deserve better, we deserve true, and we deserve real. And this is our pledge. And you can see this at millionmommovement.info, where you can also join the movement, if you will, and enter your information to get the newsletter and be notified of all of our events. The pledge. I pledge to defend the health of my family and of myself. I pledge to reject GMOs, artificial ingredients, trans fats, and overprocessed foods. I pledge to educate myself, read labels, and lead by example. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health of future generations. I am committed to sharing this mission until we are 1 million strong. So, Tim, the petition that we circulate can be found also on millionmommovement.info /glyphosate. My peers will probably be putting that in the link here. And we're going to get started moving into the flow of our dialogue. By all means, take notes. By all means, be prepared to listen to the conversation with Stephanie and Dave, our special guest today. But right now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce a fellow councilwoman, because one of our functions in the council, as I said, is to empower you with financial sovereignty. And there is a business opportunity with Purium. But with the Million Mom Movement, you have the opportunity to apply for, interview, and be selected for a scholarship. So I'd like my peer, Carmela, to take the wheel and tell us about the scholarship opportunity. Go ahead, sister.
Thank you, Rebecca. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm Carmela Velarde. I'm a Blue Diamond with the company, and I'm committed to being on this council. We are looking for 4 families with economic need to empower themselves with our brand partnership. So with this particular scholarship that we award through the Million Mom Movement, we're very excited to be able to offer these recipients an opportunity to empower themselves through economic sovereignty by our mentorship. We have every third Wednesday of the month a Million Mom Movement Business Power Hour. This month I'll be hosting it on the 18th. So mark that on your calendar. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. And please attend. All those who are scholarship winners, please also attend with your sponsors. So there are diamond sponsors who are mentors, and we're here as the council to help to mentor them. Now, what do you receive? Along with a brand partnership, you're going to be receiving $2,500 worth of Purium superfoods over the course of 6 months. So yes, that's an incredible, incredible offering. So we are looking for 4 people monthly. So the beginning of the month, please do look in your community. Look for those who are looking to change their life and really become the example with which these superfoods can transform. I look forward to creating, we have wellness assessments and mentorship and an interview process, just like Rebecca had mentioned. So we diligently look for those who can change our community and create the impact that we're looking to achieve the 1 million strong. So I'm going to pass this over. So I definitely look into millionmommovement.info and look to the scholarship tab for the application. But make sure if you are going to be applying that you have an upline who will sponsor you. So I'm going to be passing over the microphone now to my fellow council member as well. Her name is Nayeva Floring in Hawaii. She's a Blue Diamond with the company and our social media expert on the council.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. What an amazing layout already. I can't wait for the rest of this segment and to hear more from Dave Murphy. But I want to share with you all where Fierce Fridays came from. We came up with this idea as a council. The idea came from Stephanie Dawn, our chair, and a lot of it came from our passion about seeing the effects of our food, the quality of our food, and us wanting to share this more with more moms, basically share the knowledge with more moms so that way they could choose what is best for their families. And so we know that with, the quality of our food nowadays, what we don't know, we don't know. So we got to educate each other. We got to go out there and share what we know with other moms. And that's where Fierce Friday comes in here with the Million Mom Movement, because we're passionate about educating and sharing what we know with you all. And so I'm super excited today for our interview, but I wanted to share with you all that we started a letter writing campaign to General Mills at the beginning of the year, asking them to remove glyphosate from their most popular cereals. Mostly Cheerios is where we started, but we'd like to encourage them to remove any ingredients containing glyphosate from any of their ingredient lists on their foods. And so we got to start with the first step, right? And that letter writing campaign lasted about 6 months. And then we realized that as moms, we have so much on our plate, we're juggling everything. And sometimes getting to that letter just falls behind. And so we made it a lot simpler and we pivoted over to a petition writing campaign. So now it's just a petition. It's super easy. You just go ahead and sign the petition. And when we get 1,000 signatures, we'll be able to send that in as a request to General Mills. We will continue to have more petitions moving forward. We'd like to encourage other to remove other ingredients from our popular foods, such as food coloring and additives, preservatives, and things like that. But we want to take the first step towards asking them to remove glyphosate from their most popular foods, especially the ones that are given to our small children. A lot of moms that don't know are feeding Cheerios to their little babies as their first food. And we can't go out there and tell every mom in the world not to feed her kid Cheerios, because most moms will probably just, not listen and keep doing it. But what we can do is target it from the root cause, which is what we are all about here at Purium and the Million Mom Movement, and asking the companies to remove this ingredient from their food supply in the first place, making it easier for all moms to shop and know that what they're getting is better quality for our families and our children. So I encourage you to please sign our petition. It's on the Million Mom Movement website. It's also, I created an event on our Facebook page, so you can actually find the event for our petition and share it wide and far. You know, we are the Million Mom Movement. That is our hashtag. I am the Million Mom Movement is our newest hashtag. So run with it. Share what you're passionate about. Share what you love about our movement, and ask more people to sign that petition so that we can make a bigger difference and make that ripple into a wave. So thank you so much for having me on. I'm going to pass this back over to Rebecca, and thank you to our amazing council for everything that you do, and for Dave Murphy for coming on today. And last but not least, I just want to let you all know I have the great opportunity to be interviewed today on our company business opportunity call at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're able to tune in there, please hop on. I'll be sharing my story, and I can't wait to see you all there. So aloha for now. Passing it over to you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Nayeva. Bless you. We've heard from Pennsylvania and Hawaii. I see we've got Netherlands on the line, tuning in. This is a global movement. And if you're going to make an impact and cause a movement, it requires leadership. It requires people who are willing to stand up, be heard, speak even when their voices shake, and have the courage to take on not just systems, but the individuals, as Nayeva said, all the households of moms and dads and families who support those systems. We talk about voting with our dollars. And if you want to know, our fearless leader is Stephanie Dawn. She is the chairperson of the Million Mom Movement. And these Fierce Fridays were her brainchild. And it came out of her own life story. For decades, Stephanie has been an activist and an educator about eco-consciousness, economic consciousness. I mentioned health and wealth sovereignty, your right to be healthy, well, and wise. She's also been a sacred birth facilitator and coach, now author, and a business coach and mentor as an entrepreneur for many years to many people, myself included. And I love that we've got Dave Murphy. I love that Purium is founded by Dave Sandoval, because it is kind of like a David and Goliath thing going on. So I don't know what Dave named, but we can give Stephanie, but she certainly deserves one, because she takes on giant issues in this world, not just for her sake and her children, but for me and you. So let me turn it over now to Stephanie Dawn, who will bring on our special guest, Dave Murphy, and introduce an epic dialogue. Stephanie, take it away.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I'm a little emotional today. Yeah, there's a lot running through me right now, because this report that you've heard me talk about for the whole year of 2020, Glyphosate Unsafe on Any Plate, this is where it all started for me with my son Zephyr. I read Dave's report, and I was horrified as a mother that I'd been feeding my son toxic food for most of his young life. And I knew when I became the chair of the Million Mom Movement that I had to do something for other families that did not know what I know. And so I am so excited to have Dave Murphy with us today. He is a game changer in the US agricultural world. I'm happy to say that he's my friend, my fellow colleague, my fellow activist, and his credentials are many, and I'm going to share them with you here. He's the founder and executive director of Food Democracy Now!, a grassroots movement of more than 650,000 American farmers and citizens dedicated to reforming policies relating to food, agriculture, and the environment. In 2006, Dave moved back to Iowa to help stop a factory farm from being built near his sister's farm. After seeing the loss of basic democratic rights of rural Iowans, Murphy decided to stay in Iowa to fight for Iowa's farmers and rural residents and expose the flaws of industrial agriculture to help create a more sustainable future for all Americans. In 2012, he served as the co-chair of California's Prop 37, a ballot initiative to label genetically engineered food. Some of you in Cali might remember that. I sure do. Following a narrow loss, he helped write and pass the first 2 GMO labeling bills in Connecticut and Maine in 2013. And his writing has appeared in The Nation, The Hill, The Huffington Post, and The New York Times. Dave Murphy, thank you so much for being here with us today. You might want to unmute yourself, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor.
Oh, Dave, we don't see your camera, unfortunately. Are you there? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm right here. How are we doing? Can you see me?
Cool. Yeah,
Can you hear
see
me?
you now.
More importantly,
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I think we've got a bit of a delay though.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I'm in Iowa, so my Zoom mostly works, but occasionally I'm in a construction zone, so it sometimes is lagged. So just let me know if it's going slow.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for making time for us today, Dave.
Very excited to be here. Listen, when did we meet? Was it 2017? And I think I've been to a couple Purium events. So I want to thank everyone on this call because, I started Food Democracy Now in 2008 because I was very concerned not about the democracy, the health of our democracy in Iowa, but the health of our democracy globally and as America.
Can you guys hear him? I've lost him. Dave, we've lost you.
To fight factory farms. Ironically, I'm from Iowa, and it's the belly of the beast. We have roughly 30 million acres here, and probably 97% of the corn and 93% of the soybeans grown in my state are genetically engineered to be sprayed with Roundup. So that is the most popular chemical used in my state agriculturally. And I've been looking at it since 2006, 2000. Research that we can in that period. And I was helping lead the GMO labeling fight in 2012 to 2014. We basically had a series of 4 ballot initiatives in 4 states. That's California in 2012. We nearly lost by about 1.4 percentage points, even though the opposition led by Monsanto and General Mills and your good friends at General Mills and Kellogg's and Pepsi and Coke, they donated $46 million. Our side, a grassroots effort, raised $9 million. The next year, we went to Washington State. We lost by a lot less, but we raised $9 million. They raised $22 million. And then in 2014, we had 2 ballot initiatives, one in Colorado and one in Oregon. One in Oregon, we lost by 837 votes. So I am from a state, Iowa, where we believe that every vote counts. And I have fortunate over my health. I've had some serious health issues, autoimmune problems, basically the last couple of years, irritable bowel syndrome and SIBO among, basically those are 2 of my minor problems right now, but they're very serious health issues. And it really comes from the food we're eating. Being in Iowa, I played football in college, so I always paid attention to my diet. And so I started eating organic food over 20 years ago, but it really became a main issue for me 15 years ago when I moved back to fight factory farms. I never had any idea that I would be an activist. I never wanted to be an activist. I was vaguely interested in politics after growing up very far right wing, vaguely interested in politics in my adult years, but I was going to write a novel. And as I say, this is stranger than the X-Files. What the loss of our democracy and the loss of science. It's more corrupt than you could ever imagine. But I always look at that not as I don't get depressed by that. I looked at that is my job to correct that. You have to take it upon yourself to make change in your life. And I played football in college. I hated football, but if I was gonna start, I would play. And my philosophy is, if I can add to a movement and make a difference, I'll keep trying to do that. So that's kind of a bit of my background. And this report came around because I was very frustrated with the lies being told by the USDA, the EPA, and the FDA regarding the safety of these chemicals that are in our products. And I studied history in college, basically take you a little while that law. I'll say the science around the safety of glyphosate is one of the greatest fictions that's ever been allowed to write into U.S. law. It is criminal how they've used this toxic chemical, and it's now engineered. Monsanto figured out it can eat oats and growers, basically wheat and oats, that for pre-harvest spraying. So when we did the study in 2016, and I think some of the testing we started in 2015, but the testing shows that Cheerios is the highest, not because there's wheats or oats that are genetically engineered. It's because those oats are sprayed pre-harvest with glyphosate, which causes the moisture to get sucked out of them a lot faster, so they can just be sold immediately on the market, drenched in glyphosate. Which is why, Stephanie, I'm really sorry that you're like millions of mothers out there. You somehow thought from a reputable food company you were feeding your child a safe food product. That's the illusion that we have in America. The food industry has convinced our government we have the cheapest, fast. It's really the most dangerous, the most deadly, and the most likely to an early grave. That is the U.S. food system. So I could go on a little bit more if you want.
I'm sure you can. So I was rereading this report over the last week, and it's hard to know where to start because there's so many horrific, horrendous details in here that you and your colleague, Henry Rollins, compiled here. If you haven't all printed out this PDF, maybe one of my council members could please put the link to the PDF in the chat. I'd really appreciate that. But I there's one thing that I really want to highlight. First of all, everyone, glyphosate is the most used herbicide in the world. Let's just establish that, okay? That's really important to know, which is why I like to lead with it here at the Million Mom Movement. But I was reading last night, Dave, about the allowable parts per billion in water, our drinking water. And you've got it here in the 2016 in the EU as well as in the US tap water. And it was so scary that that's allowed. And I'm wondering, and I know you said you've got some current science, and we'll get to that. But just so that you know, everyone, here's one of the things that shares in here. So at 700 parts per billion, there were alterations of kidney and liver in rats. And 700 parts per billion is the permitted level of glyphosate in US tap water. And then we've got Cheerios coming in at 1,125.3 parts per billion. So we all need to be really alarmed. This is how I felt 4 years ago, and I still feel that way now. And so, Dave, I want to ask you about the federal investigation that you were calling for in the executive summary of this report, and then anything else you'd like to share about in regards to the report, the 2016 report.
Well, we put out the report. I had hoped, I wished I had put out the report earlier, but we put it out literally the week after the 2016 election. It was a lot of data to go through. It's 29 pages. It had to be I had to have multiple scientists and lawyers review it. I don't mind getting sued. I kind of thought it would be entertaining because I know the thing, if they sue me, then I get discovery, which means they're in a whole world of hurt because I get to go have access to all their scientific research where they claim that glyphosate is safe. And so we were going to call on Congress to do something, but we realized that wasn't going to happen. So we actually targeted the EPA. They have an inspector general. Every agency has a independent legal watchdog that within the agency can review. And we were working with members of Congress on point, so we knew exactly what to do. And the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, which is responsible for the approval of a chemical that's allowed on food products, we knew that they were corrupt. So this came out roughly November 17th, 2016. People did not expect that our current president was going to win. So we kind of walked into a very different political reality than what was forecasted. So we're 4 years later. So life just gets entertaining. And no matter what your politics are, I love you. It's great that you have opinion. Just share. I'm just saying, like, we can have a wide variety of beliefs, but it's what you can get past by Congress. Hey, like, when I look at the Environmental Protection Agency, its job was designed to protect the American public from corporations like Monsanto, DuPont, Dow Chemical. What you learn very quickly in any work in this space is that essentially you are controlled by an agency that has been infiltrated and basically run by the opposition. So there's something called a revolving door. And Michael Taylor was put in place. He was a former Monsanto attorney at King and Spalding. He helped write the rules that made it impossible for us to have GMO labeling or public disclosure on food products. He was put in place by multiple agencies. The first one was the George Bush Senior administration. The second one was the Obama administration. So we know it was going to be a pretty big fight on the Obama administration, but we thought we would get a chance to have mandatory GMO labeling because Obama in 2007, 2008 promised to have mandatory GMO labeling while he was here in Iowa. And that was a process. I was an activist for Iowa Farmers Union at the time. I convinced his ag and environmental team that GMO labeling was a good idea. And he said at a speech in November 2007, an event that I organized for farmers, and I videotaped it. That was really the whole reason I started Food Democracy Now! So we could have this conversation on GMOs, commodity agriculture, and pesticides in our food. So once Trump was elected, there was very small likelihood that, just politically, so you understand, there's very small likelihood that the EPA would be managed or run by someone that would have a pro-environment or pro-health standpoint. Typically, at that level, conservatives, especially Republicans, believe in a deregulated space for business. Their philosophy is that regulations harm small businesses and harm your ability to make money. So the thing is, but the Inspector General's office, can everyone hear me? Stephanie, can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yeah, go for it. You're good.
Get the thumbs up. No, not a problem. Just making sure. So, so the Inspector General's office is still independent. The issue was this Inspector General did not feel enough heat or pressure to do an investigation. At that point, it didn't matter because the courts were starting to, in 2017, 2008, there was a famous set of lawsuits against Monsanto on glyphosate. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is a part of that. And so they've issued some 3 on their products that they're sell for home use. They do not say that this could cause harm to humans. And they say that based on the chemical pathway, the chemic pathway by which glyphosate operates. I don't want to go into that. We can talk about, I think we should talk about the chemic pathway and modes of action at a separate point. But the lawsuits have settled so far over $2 billion. I think the first one was $87 million. $200 million, and it was dropped down to $87 million. And there was another one that was settled for over $2 billion. And so these court cases are about to be, or maybe settled. They were, Bayer bought Monsanto in 2018. I think it was finalized in 2019. And so it's a big issue that's being settled by the courts. But we still have glyphosate sprayed on our food. And that there have been multiple groups that have done reports about glyphosate in food since we did this report in 2016, but our report kind of set the standard because we used an FDA lab, a lab that the US Food and Drug Administration uses. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I've studied all the research that's out there. I've read hundreds of studies, peer-reviewed science. I've read science that's been submitted to the FDA, to the EPA. There's a lot of science that we cannot see. But I'm just saying what they've uncovered in these lawsuits has been really helpful for just in making our case that we always knew glyphosate and Roundup was harmful. And in the 1990s, New York State Court ruled that Monsanto was guilty of false advertising because they said that that glyphosate is biodegradable. A long history of just basically lying about the safety of their products. Agent Orange, DDT, dioxin. It became a real concern to me, thinking that they are producing our food and this is being sprayed on our food. So I think before the last thing I want to make is the point I want to make is, so you think you're buying something that's healthy for you because it has a non-GMO label, non-GMO project label on it. That nothing could be further from the truth. You have to eat organic food, especially anything that's a grain-based wheats, oats, and barley. I would definitely eat organic 100%. I would also eat, fruits and vegetables 100% organic if you can. Some places you may not have access to them. In small towns in Iowa, you don't really get the best looking fruit and the fresh fruit like you guys do in California or Hawaii. You guys live in paradise out there. So I always say you eat a 100% organic diet. I know that's not easy for people, but there's a lot of ways nowadays you can get access to healthy food. Thrive Market is one of those online groups that sells organic food at 25% below cost. So I always try to use them. They do promote that they're non-GMO, but I will not promote the non-GMO project just because our research showed that the highest levels of glyphosate contamination were in products that had did not contain GMOs. So Cheerios, famously, we worked with Green American and other bunch of groups, and we targeted General Mills in 2013, 14, and 15, and they finally they claimed that they were non-GMO free, but they didn't use a non-GMO project. And so we were outraged when we did the testing, and it was glyphosate, like Cheerios, that had the highest glyphosate. Highest were Stacy's pita chips, which is a wheat-based product. I think that was non-GMO project verified. And the next one was Honey Nut Cheerios. So Stacy's pita chips contains 812.53 parts per billion. And Stephanie Dawn was saying earlier, research has shown that 0.1 parts per billion of Roundup, and that's 0.05 parts per billion of glyphosate, alters the gene function of over 4,000 genes within the livers and kidneys of rats. Now that's really alarming, especially when you understand, and Google this, fatty liver disease. Right now, there's an epidemic of fatty liver disease. That's basically you can be really healthy, but for some reason your liver is coating itself with fat as a protector. Most people are fat not because they're lazy, it's because they're being just shoved with high fructose corn syrup in everything, and then they're having the gut microbiome destroyed by glyphosate on their food. Glyphosate has 3 patents. It's patented as a chelator, meaning it sucks out vital nutrients like calcium and zinc and manganese that we all need. Americans are chronically deprived of those micronutrients, and it basically binds them. And then it's a chelator. It was effectively used by Stouffer Chemical Company. It would be like a Drano product for your, but sadly it's going in our bodies. And I think it chelates to your bones. And the other thing is that it was as a weed killer, and it was published 1974 was when glyphosate for Roundup first went on the market. And then in 2010, process, they finally got glyphosate approved as a antibiotic, antimicrobial. So these are the things that we have in our bodies today because they're sprayed on our food, and we really shouldn't need to be using Roundup on wheat or oats before they're harvested. The good news is this report had a major impact. It literally scared the shit out of General Mills. So thank you for writing all your letters, and thank you for all the work that you did. I ironically got very sick in 2017 and 2018, not long after this report was published. But I mean, immediately General Mills was crying uncle when we put this report out. There were major stores across the United States that pulled Cheerios from their store shelves and then put it at the very bottom shelf, which for years, if you buy food products, low retail, it's like the worst place you could put a product in a grocery store is on the bottom shelf. So it had a major impact. I think General Mills in 2018 announced that they're going to have 1 million acres set aside for basically regenerative agriculture. And we're fighting to get regenerative agriculture defined as it never using glyphosate on no-till.
Awesome. Oh, that is great news. I just watched Kiss the Ground 2 nights ago, and
Awesome.
what an inspiring film. Wow. Regenerative agriculture is happening right now, and it needs to be happening a lot more all across the United States. Oh, this is so good. There were times when you were talking, Dave, that your sound would go out, I think because of the Wi-Fi. So I hate to ask you to turn off your, well, there's a
Sure.
couple of requests to either to change your Wi-Fi or to, because really important points were being missed because it went out, sadly. So you could turn off your video or you could shift your Wi-Fi so we don't lose anything that you're saying, because we're all like sort of sitting at the edge of our chairs waiting for everything that you're sharing. So I want to ask you about where are we at today? Here we are, November 2020, 4 years later. What's going on today with your organization? What's going on? Can you do an update to this report? I mean, what are your plans?
Well, we would love to do a report. This report cost minimum $50,000. We tested a lot of food products. It was a lot to test. You cannot test one sample because you may have an error. You know what I mean? So let's say if you test something, there's nothing. I mean, you can test a product 10 times. And then like, I'm just saying we literally tested water. We tested, we tested hundreds of food products.
We're losing you,
But I'll
Dave.
just say, okay. Sorry to hear that. Well, I'll just give you an update. So the organization, we're just finishing a redesign of our website. We will have a petition on glyphosate reconnected this week. Literally, they're finishing rebuilding our website as we speak. It's supposed to be done today by Monday, and I'm just saying, well, I have to do a ton of back end work to get this ship uploaded and running. I actually retired. My health was so bad I retired in July 2018. So I am technically on my 50th birthday. I retired. That's ironic. And I'm going to start a new organization because I believe this work needs to continue. My focus is going to be on food, health, and democracy. So I'm expanding it. So this is Food Democracy Now. And I created it specifically to help manage the problem of GMOs and glyphosate, in our food. I believe I accomplished my mission and what I wanted to do. And I found an amazing new person to take over. She is a corporate attorney. She spent the last 4 years investigating organic fraud in the organic industry. So you guys are going to love her. And please stay connected with Food Democracy Now. Sign up. We're going to have some really exciting news soon. Kiss the ground. I would advise everyone. So what I say is I'm very lucky that my time at Food Democracy Now is over. I literally had to stare death in the face for 10 years, every day waking up. I'm just saying, when you fight factory salmon, you're that way. I'm worried about that. And one way to that. So anyway, I'm very lucky. I feel like I accomplished what I wanted to do at Food Democracy Now. But I believe the organizations, we were kind of a run and gun grassroots organization. We literally were like a war room for healthy food and for healthy family farming under the Obama administration. And I'm at 50 years old, now 52. I really have to take a step back and look at what I want to achieve with my remaining time. I had some serious health issues, and so I really don't. This is a great place to be, but I really think what's after life is even better. So I don't really have concerns about dying. I think it's a great adventure. Just be ready for it. Sorry to sprinkle in my spirituality in this process, but I'll just say I was raised a far right conservative evangelical, so there is hope for people out there. I just make want to be hope in whatever you're going through. There is a really beautiful, positive, pro-farmer, pro-health, pro-environment farming movement building right now. So no matter what happens in this election, it looks a little bit uncertain out there. Welcome to 2020. I mean, I swear to God, I should have put that. There was a bumper sticker last year, 2016, asteroid 2016. Like, you want the asteroid to win. So I'm just saying, like, we better update that. But, listen, being involved in a journey for your own personal health will teach you a lot of lessons in life about perseverance and standing up and fighting.
We're losing you, Dave. Yeah, he's totally frozen. Can you hear me, Dave? Mm. Yeah, we lost him. Well, hopefully he'll come back. I was going to segue right now anyways to the field to see if there are any questions for Dave. But maybe, I don't know that he'll be, yeah, it looks like we may have lost him completely. So perhaps you have some comments or some questions that I or the council might be able to answer for you while we wait for him to come back. And if you have any questions or comments, maybe you could raise your hand. And then we would know. The chat has been very lively. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm sorry that we've lost him. Any comments from anyone?
I'd like to know if people would like to get more involved with Food Democracy Now! And really donate, what would it go towards? And how can we help him with his advocacy?
So go to www.fooddemocracynow.org and sign up for their emails. You can also donate there as well. I just donated a couple days ago because I was so excited to support them. So as he mentioned, Food Democracy Now! Is not going to be going on under his leadership. He's got a new ED that he's hiring, and he's moving in a different direction. So, but I do, and I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. That's another conversation that he and I are going to have, and potentially we can have him back on to talk more about that, as well as the new ED for Food Democracy Now! But bottom line, Food Democracy Now! Is going to continue on with a different executive director. And they've got there's a lot of information on that site. I highly encourage you all to go there and check it out and learn more about, and I don't know that he got a chance to share the updated science that I was hoping. Hopefully he can come back or at least share that with me, and then I can put it in our Million Mom Movement official group. But, if you haven't read this PDF, I don't think that much has changed since 2016. And, it scared the wits out of General Mills, but then you know what? I think they went right back to business as usual. So this PDF, it needs to be read by every single one of my council members. It needs to be read by every single one of you that is a Purium brand partner. It needs to be read by all of your friends, all of your family members, everyone that you know that you can share this report with, okay? We've been sharing about it since January 2020, since Fierce Fridays started. And I now use it as a teaching tool locally here on Bainbridge Island, Washington, where I live. When I lived in LA, it was at every single one of my healthy happy hours. Wherever you're gathering together as a Purium community, you want to be sharing this report, okay? It's going to shock you. It's going to enrage you. It's going to cause you to take action, which is what it did for me, which is why you're all here with me today. So thank you all for being here with me today. I want to segue now to my council member, Jody Parker, because I wanted to ask Jody to please share a little bit about Biomedic. So Jody's we call her Dr. Jody. She's our resident product nerd. Are you there, Jody?
I'm here, standing
Yay.
in front of the tennis court. So if you can see behind me, there's all the homeschool families. Our weekly homeschool play date is here. So I'm doing mom and council work simultaneously. But thank you for the opportunity to bring Dave on. First of all, like, I really want to make sure that we all say thank you to Stephanie, because that was her brainchild. She did the work to invite him on, and we were really excited to have him. So thank you for doing that. Thank you to everybody who's on today. And as you know, here at the Million Mom Movement, it's not just about being knowledgeable. It's about solutions. We are about moving forward with solutions to help you, because yes, things are a mess, but humans are resilient and we're amazing, and we find solutions, which is what we have done here at Purium. So we have a product called Biomedic. And Biomedic actually will get the glyphosate out of your body. So we had a 6-week preclinical trial, and that is without a diet change. And the results were this: after 6 weeks of taking 2 Biomedic a day, the glyphosate in the body was reduced by 74%. The inflammation in the body was reduced by 75%. And they measured that by C-reactive protein, which is what cardiologists measure in your body to see if you're at risk for heart disease. So lowering C-reactive protein is a really big deal. Inflammation is the underlying cause of so many chronic conditions. So getting that inflammation under control is huge. And then in that same period of time, the gut permeability. So people, if you've heard of leaky gut, that is gut permeability. If things are leaking out of your intestines and into your bloodstream, that decreased by 35% in that same 6 weeks. So by staying on the product, you continue to assist with that gut healing. And the way that that works is there are only 4 ingredients in Biomedic. And those 4 ingredients include fulvic and humic acid, and that acts, think of it as a nutrient bridge. It helps nutrients get in the cell that should be in the cell, and it helps toxins that should not be in the cell get out of the cell. So that is what is removing the glyphosate from your cells. Then you have lactospore, which is a spore probiotic. And when it gets into your body, that particular probiotic is designed, its purpose is to flush the intestines out. So that's what makes sure you stay regular and it gets out of your body. Then you have, I believe it's chicory root, which is a prebiotic. It feeds the good probiotics in your gut. So it helps your gut repopulate all the good stuff that we need in our body. And then we have a patented PreBioSure, and that it's a type of probiotic. And what happens is, as the good bacteria in your gut dies, good bacteria, they have waste, all right? And they make almost like a biofilm on your intestines. And that film helps protect your villi inside your intestines from being attacked by the glyphosate. And as that good bacteria dies, that protection goes away. Well, the PreBioSure helps to bring that back, and it helps to coat your villi so that they can regrow, so that they can heal themselves. And that is why you see a decrease in gut permeability, the healing. I can't use the word healing. Your body starts to regrow the villi, and that is what tightens the junctures of your intestines, so you're no longer having leaky gut. So it's very simple, just 4 ingredients, but it's huge. I do want to say one other thing about that really quick,
because we've got Dave back. Really quick, Jody.
Oh, really quick. I just want to say, for those of you who are worried about the gluten content in it, if you know somebody with celiac, use the Aloe Digest and the ionic elements instead, and you will get the same results. All right,
Awesome.
so passing it back
Yay.
to you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Jody. Have a beautiful day. Welcome back, Dave. You there? We got you?
Yeah, I was talking to myself basically.
It's good to have you back. So final thoughts on where we're at today, where we're going, and how we can support you and your new venture.
Sure. Well, I am very excited about where we are as a movement. I see a lot of hope. I didn't see this in 2016 when we launched that report. That was really the beginning of a lot of awareness. We were just fighting for GMO labeling because we were really, oh my God, you've got to know what these GMOs are. Really an indicator, like if these products have GMOs in it, they're not going to be healthy for you. They're not going to be healthy for the planet and for farmers. So I think Kiss the Ground as a movie has really done a wonderful job. And there's another movie, Gather. I don't know. So Kiss the Ground is on Netflix. We will be posting something on our website, Freedom Action Now, about kisstheground.org or kisstheground.com or Kiss the Ground movie. And if you don't have Netflix, we will be sending out an email this week where you can buy the movie for $1. Basically, just rent it for $1 on Vimeo. I didn't have Netflix for a long time, so I realize it's not everyone does. And I'm excited to see people like you trying to find solutions for everyone that's sick. I have been sick a lot of my adult life, so I know what it's like. The person who was talking about leaky guts, injunctions, all that, I understand that. I have had serious, autoimmune and also digestive issues for years, and I really didn't solve it. Didn't really even begin to going to solving it until I was in Topanga, California. So I was near in LA for about 2.5 years, and that's where I met Stephanie and I met Dave Sandoval and a number of your amazing people at Purium. I've been to your plant a couple times where they manufacture the stuff. So thank you for making those products. I mean, the sad thing is with this epidemic, COVID and pandemic, I would just say it doesn't matter. And I know there's a lot of questions around the science, and I think it's very appropriate to have those conversations about the science. But the most important thing is you don't really need to know where it comes. The thing is, the epidemic did not just come from Wuhan, from China. The epidemic is in our food, and you guys are a solution to that. If we do not get people healthy, be serious. So the people that really had this most likely to die had cofactors like diabetes and obesity, and also vitamin D deficiencies. So I don't know what you guys do to talk about vitamin D deficiencies, but 80% of the people that died had cofactors. D deficiency is an epidemic in America. And vitamin D is not necessarily a vitamin. It is actually a hormone, and your body's immune system desperately needs it. And people that are prone to respiratory infections also need vitamin D. So I don't know what you guys can sell on a vitamin D product, but I would make sure I would add to my lineup after you get detoxed from glyphosate.
Yeah.
And I think it's really incredible that you guys have a product. And I've seen some similar products not test as high, store that's out there that tests below 40% remediation of glyphosate. I don't know if you guys knew that one.
No, thank you for letting us know that. That's important. Yeah, well,
you guys have the best product in the market.
Thank you. I agree with you. And will you come back and be with us again, Dave Murphy?
I shall, but hopefully I'll have better news for you next time. We'll just give you a quick update. I'm not pregnant or anything. It just looks like it. No, I'm kidding.
We're so grateful for your time. We're so grateful for the work that you do in the world and the stand that you are for farmers, for mothers, for children, I just want to hug you. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Listen, you guys are in the front line. America has a major health epidemic, and you guys are helping people have a safer, saner, and healthy life. Just keep that as your main mission every day. I mean, I'm just saying, my work wouldn't matter if it weren't for people like you. My work would just go down like a giant recycling bin, you know. But like, people are so sick, they need your product. So God bless you, and fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Dave.
day.
Thank you very much. God bless
You
you.
bet. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So we're almost done here, but we have a couple more announcements. Yes? Where's my team?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Go for it.
All right. That's my cue. I'll take it as my cue. Oh, I've got tears in my eyes after that last statement from Dave. He's right. This movement of many really puts us at the front line. And he's right. We really do have the best thing going with Purium Health products. I mean, this is not someone who is inside of our dynamic telling us for our own ego's sake that we're doing good and we're doing the right thing and that we are the frontline change agents. It's because he sees us from the outside. He knows what it's taken for himself for decades, and it takes one to know one, they say, right? We knew that when we were 6 years old. It takes one to know one. And so I see all of you on this call. I'm looking through the faces. I'm seeing your households and all the parts of the country and world that you're in. I'm seeing your babies and your families. I'm literally moved to tears in my little healthy, happy kitchen in Flint, Michigan, where it's a foreign language to speak healthy. And I want you to know we've created a new campaign with a hashtag, I am the Million Mom Movement. And we're inviting you after today's call to take a piece of what you've learned about glyphosate, to take a piece of this information and do a post in your own social media using the hashtag, I am the Million Mom Movement. And our social media guru, Nayeva Floria in Hawaii, will take your post and actually move it through our own social media platforms so we can direct people back to you and show you off, because you are who we count on. There's no Million Mom Movement without the million. There's no us without you. So please take a moment, make a post today. Let's use the energy from this conversation. Make a post. I promise as soon as I hang up, I'll do the same. And I'll tell you what I'm going to post. Vitamin D is not a vitamin, but technically a hormone that you need to fight infection. And your best option is food. Do you know what to eat? That'll be my post. And you can look out for my post on my social media, because hashtag, I am the Million Mom Movement. Take it away, Steph. Close us out.
I love you, Rebecca Johns, and I love all of you. Thank you for prioritizing being here with us every Friday. We want to be the place for you all to meet and to be bringing your woke, switched on moms, dads, aunts, uncles, concerned citizens to take action. We're about action here. Yes, we're about sharing biomedic, and we are about the much larger movement that is the Million Mom Movement. And as Rebecca said, we can't do this without you. There's no movement without you. So God bless you. Go and make that post. Let's raise this movement to 1 million. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're all here for. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Friday. Invite 2 friends. Peace out.